yourself.
This meeting is being recorded.
So it's very important to pour all that energy on you, and once you stop putting all that positive energy, be optimistic. Everything else, the universe just tends to give to you. You have people walking around saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Well, you know what? There's other people everywhere that things are happening to, and you can't control those things. So why not put that effort and that energy into things that you can control? Your own wants, your own desires. What makes you? What drives you? What are you passionate about besides being passionate about someone else? Because see, once you put that passion towards yourself, you stop building all this optimistic that just spews from you. You become like a light being like Jennifer Walker, and you become a light being where you attract all these good things. And as these things start happening, as you start building all this energy and all this, optimism about you, the universe then in turn will send you who is made for you. Sitting around waiting and just thinking about that person or just fantasizing does not manifest those things. The most important thing is to love yourself. If you don't love yourself and if you're not comfortable alone, everybody gets lonely. I'm not saying that people who, do this don't get lonely. Trust me, we get lonely too, but we're okay alone. And that's okay. And that's what's the difference there. So once you focus on yourself, the universe is just gradually going to kick out everybody who does not serve you, will just fall from your life, and you will be on your clear path into manifesting love with very pure intentions. Once your intentions are very pure within yourself. If you're not aligned, if you're telling people around you that, hey, I want this, or I act this way. Yeah, I'm over this person. I'm not really dwelling on them or thinking about them. I'm not spending my time at night eating bonbons and, thinking about them. But in reality, you're not aligned. You are not sending the right message. You're still telling the universe that those type of people are okay. And if you settle for less, that is what you're telling the universe that you want. And that is what the universe is going to send you. So if you don't love yourself, the universe will not send someone that will love you with pure intentions until you love yourself. It's very important to love yourself. And once you do that, everything just comes in. Trust me, everything just comes at you. I didn't get this way from not going through these struggles, from not learning, from not becoming the King of Pentacles, learning pragmatism, applying the lessons of the past into the present, into the future. Everybody carries baggage from past relationships. And you have so many people just walking around going from one to the other thinking, hey, what's wrong with this person? Why is this person acting on me? And they don't think to go into hermit mode and do introspection to actually view themselves to see how they played a part in it too. There's two people in everything. So it's very important to not dwell on things that don't work out, but it's very important to learn the lessons. That wasn't a waste of time. You can't view things as a waste of time. You have to apply them as saying, okay, the universe sent me this. This was a karmic lesson. Let me learn from that. Let me see what lessons am I learning from this that I can now apply myself, into something. Okay, so my next relationship, I did this. Let me try not to do that. Wait, that came from somewhere from my childhood. I never noticed that before. It's very important to focus on you, and once you do, and you stop healing and seeing those triggers that most people have. And I have people that will come to my channel and say, well, I don't need to heal anymore. Well, then you stopped growing, because we're all going to be healing for like the rest of our lives. I mean, life is about ups and downs, and it's all important on how we handle them is the most important. It's our view on it. See, our view connects with our emotions. So if you change your mindset on how you see things, your emotions will change with that mindset. So if you stick on dwelling on things that are not working out, it's not connecting. You're going to keep feeding that. It's all about optimism, finding the gratitude in life, the things that you do have, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. I mean, other than that, I don't know what else to say, to be
That's
honest.
perfect. Thank you, Anna. Wow.
You're welcome.
Way to start us out.
Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer. So how do you manifest love with pure intention?
I don't know how I can beat what she just said. I mean, that's basically what I tell my clients too. I tell them, ask yourself, why did you connect with this person? Are you, because when we go into a breakup or we go into a rebound, we're matching that energy vibration because it's all about vibration. So if you're in a place of hurt and pain, you're going to attract that person to your life. So it is about shifting our vibration and realizing that we have love for ourselves. How many times have we been in situations where, we had to break up with somebody and then, we kind of went and did our own thing. And then that other person just showed up in our lives. That's how it works. You can't put your focus too much on it. As far as manifestation techniques, because I think she definitely covered all the aspects of self-love and stuff like that. So
thank you.
I don't think there's any more to cover on that, but definitely the first thing is to heal yourself. Absolutely. But as far as manifestation techniques, manifestation techniques is basically, first of all, getting up in the morning, doing your routine and saying, hey, giving yourself a high five in the mirror and saying, I love you. And start reflecting that, because we're a mirror. We're a mirror, and we're going to reflect that, and we're going to reflect that back out to the universe. So if we want to attract somebody who is going to be for our highest best good, we have to first look at ourselves, reflect that back, and then as a mirror, reflecting it back to the universe, saying, okay, that's what I want. That's what I want to be. So I would say, as far as techniques go, you can use art. Okay, so let's say you're, a painter or drawer, an artist, you're a creative writer. So I would start just, if you're a creative writer, let's use that as an example. A creative writer, start talking about, okay, wow, my soulmate's going to be like this, it's going to be like that. Start writing those things down and just creatively thinking about that story that you want to create, because we manifest our own reality. And then also, as far as using art, you want to invoke emotions within you. That's how you manifest. You invoke emotions within you. Otherwise, the manifestation is not going to go anywhere. If you're invoking a manifestation from a place of pain, that's exactly what you're going to bring to you. So, if let's say you're doing art and you're listening to songs. Now, I want you to use songs that you would use for like romance and like things that are going to invoke that emotion within you, but also the words. Think about the words when you're utilizing that manifestation. Let's say, for instance, for whatever reason, you want to manifest an ex back. Go to those songs titles that say you're going to come back, we're going to have a second chance. Go to those kind of song titles. And then while you're painting, you're visualizing, oh, we're together, we're having a great time, it's all going to work out, this, that, and the other. So that's another means of doing it. But then on the same token, you're feeling within your heart, you're feeling happy, you're feeling that joyful feeling. And also, the manifestation technique is also gratitude. When you give, you receive. I mean, there's multiple ways that you can do this. Like, so you can feed birds, you can give to the homeless, you can donate your clothes. So there's multiple ways. You can even just send energy out to the universe and say, okay, I love you. You give the universe a big hug and just send it, just know you. And also, it's not seeing the universe as a means of meaning you harm, knowing that it means you good. So, a lot of times we just feel like, oh, it's such a bad day. It's just going to be a bad day today. We have that negative mindset. We watch news, news has a lot of negative connotations and stuff like that. So we're constantly being programmed with negative things in our lives instead of seeing, okay, you know what? This is a creative universe. We're here to learn, right? That's the whole purpose. It's like creative destruction and preserving, right? That's the whole thing with Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So that's the Trinity. So we're learning how to do this in reality. So all these soulmate connections are lessons to us to teach us, okay, how do we create this? How do we preserve this? How do we destroy this? If something's not serving us, if it's a toxic situation, we need to know, okay, we need to cut that out of our lives. There's so many people that I encounter in readings that tell me, I'm in this abusive relationship. I've been in this abusive relationship for 20 years. And, what should I do? Should I stay with this person? I'm like, what do you think? I mean, if you're in this situation, you're in this toxic situation that's been like this for this longest time, and you're not happy here, then why do you continue to stay? So that's also a form of destruction. You have to end a situation. You can't just stay in there. I remember I was talking to Michael one day, and he was telling me he gave a reading to a lady. And she was like, should I get divorced? Well, like she said, will I get divorced? And he was like, yes, around this time period does look possible for you to get divorced. She came back to him like a year later, and she was like, why didn't I get divorced around that time? He was like, but it also, in astrology, it shows you that you also have to take certain actions to make that happen. You can't just sit there and think, okay, that's going to happen. That's how manifestation works. You can't just sit there and say, okay, I'm going to manifest this and not do any work behind that to make that happen. Right. So if you want to manifest a soulmate connection, then you got to go out there and you got to look for it. You got to say, okay, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put myself, I'm going to hang out with friends. I'm going to be in places where potentially those people will be, or I'm going to put myself online. I'm going to go, to an online dating website. I'm going to at least put myself out there. You sitting at home thinking that person's just going to show up at your door, that's not doing the work. God helps those that helps themselves. Mm-hmm. So manifestation is also about doing. It's also being thankful, and it's also using techniques to know that, you're not using a technique where you're feeling sad, upset. You're using the technique of, I'm having a good time. How many times have we been in our life where I used to be in sales when I was younger, when I was going to college. And I used to get discouraged because I'm like, oh my God, I didn't make enough sales today. How am I going to make it? And I used to get in this mindset. I used to say to myself, stop it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. I know you're going to do it. Stop being like this. I would stop myself and I would say, just have a good time. And I would make the money I needed to make. So it is about changing your mindset. So that's pretty much what I have.
Hey, thank you. That added so much.
Awesome.
So next we have Miriam.
Hey, so
Hi.
Man, I love this question. Mostly because I think that when we ask this question, we're focusing on what can I do? What actions can we take? And we always think of it as external actions, which always ends up, of course, being trying to control the other person, which we can't control. But the key thing that I really love about this question is you asked about manifesting love with pure intentions. And I think we all know we have 20/20 vision when we look backwards. But when we're in the moment, we don't want to look at the problems. We want to go straight into the fantasy realm of being so certain that this is who I want. And I know that my intentions are pure, but that is so rarely the case when we look at the past. I can point out, I dated that guy because I was bored. I dated that guy because the guy I wanted wasn't available, or I dated that guy because I was just depressed and wanted anybody, So I really find for me, it helps to sort of assume that I have negative intentions when I have feelings of love for someone and try to figure out what those are. Because I know if I can point all of those out within myself, then I'll be left with just a pure love connection that might be just friends. It might just be friends, or it might be something deeper and bigger that can bring both of us beautiful things. But I think the main tool that I use to get there, first of all, again, the assumption that my intentions are not pure, even if I think they are. So it's the shedding of the ego is really important to me. And the number one way that I do that is mirror work and energy healing combined, whether I'm using yoga or meditation technique or affirmations, but doing them with myself, making eye contact in the mirror. It's like you can peer into your soul, and those darker parts of yourself that you usually deny, you can't hide from them. I mean, you can do a 5-minute practice, you can do a 30-minute practice, but you'll notice the more frequently you do this, you can't hide from those parts of yourself anymore because they're looking right back at you. And it's not because you're looking in the mirror to put on mascara or to see how thin you look or anything like that. It's because you're trying to improve your energy and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and it creates some kind of a connection that it purifies you while you're raising your vibration. And it's so amazing then to sit back and to know that your vibration is high and that you're more in love than fear, and then just watch the opportunities come to you, because we are pure love at our root. And if we can access that part of ourselves, that's all we attract to us. But we have to get to that point of being pure love at such a high vibrating level that we can overcome that ego, you know?
Wow. Thank you, Miriam. Amazing. Okay. So unless Sam has anything she wants to add, Sam, do you want to add anything? Okay. So, I mean, just going off of, so how I would manifest love with pure intentions, or like what I've realized about manifesting love with pure intentions is that when I think my intentions are pure, they're not pure. I'm trying to control the other person. And so, like, the most, like, I love the phrase, like, be what you want to attract, be the energy that you want to attract. So I keep getting these little men that keep plopping into my life, and almost all of them, or like 70% of them, are already in a relationship, and they don't tell me at first. And then I catch feelings for them, but I'm attracting that. So I'm like looking at that, and I know it's like, it's self-worth. It is like, yeah, it's self-worth. It's not thinking I'm deserving of having someone that is single. And I really love that mirror technique that you said, Charlie, because I always feel uncomfortable. Like if I start doing yoga in the mirror, like after about like 2 minutes, I'm like, okay, that's a wrap. It's like I can't look myself in the eye for that long. And so I feel like that technique would really break some of those barriers and get to the purity. And then I would feel that inside, and then hopefully attract that. And in so many ways, like, could I work on self-love? Like believing in what, sorry, that's a fan, believing in what I believe, regardless about what other people think. So like my Trinity is different from Jennifer's, but that doesn't make me not love Jennifer or look at Jennifer as an equal. She's not other to me. It's just it's different language, you know? So like being in touch with that and being strong in who I am, not being like a false version of myself. Because if I'm being that, then I'm attracting people that have all my negative qualities, like they still smoke cigarettes, or they're like in that cheating mindset where they're talking to me like as the other woman and not like saying, hey, I'm married, we can't talk straight up. They're like sneaky, and I'm sneaky in my own life. Like I'll be so great, and then I'll have like something slipping through the cracks in the background, like not being fully in integrity, you know? So that
I have something to add.
Yeah, add, please. No.
I think there's something called The Secret, which it was passed to me by somebody, and I absolutely love sharing this with people. It really is the secret of everything. Mm-hmm. It's about living your life like you already have it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can find it on YouTube. It was based off a book, and they made a movie out of it. But it's not like, you know, one of those real movies with action or anything. It's really a self-help, self-improvement kind of film. And it's all about how you can program your mind to live in the mindset that you want. Like, for instance, if you're having financial difficulties, it's important to say 3 times a day, about 20 to 25 times to yourself, but out loud. So when you're alone, in the shower, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. This is how I started. And I started to really see how it works. I was having financial hardship, single mom. I had just left. My son's father didn't want to be a father. He left the country, so I have no financial help. And I was like struggling. And I came across, I started thinking about this. And this is about 4 years ago. And I started telling myself that, you know, the key is to tell myself that I already have it. So I started telling myself, I have more money than I need.
Yep.
I have more money than I need. I used to do it 3 times, 4 times a day. And after about 4 to 6 weeks period, if you do it consistently, all of a sudden you'll start noticing your account having a little bit more money, or a little bit more money is going to start showing up. More opportunities start showing up, because now I'm living like I have it, which means now I'm portraying that energy out to the universe. Like I already have it. I'm building this positive mindset that I already have it. So that's like everything. Like you were saying that you attract men who are not available. It could be a key of something from childhood. You and I talked about this.
Yeah.
So it has to be something like based off of childhood. You need to start telling yourself every day that you are great alone, that you are strong alone, that you can do this alone. And eventually you're going to stop manifesting people that are good alone, because you're manifesting people who already have somebody. So they're
well, the other thing you want to do, because I also encountered this problem too with another client, is you want to tell yourself, I'm the married type. I'm the committed.
Nice.
I'm the married type. Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one. Thank you, Jennifer.
I'm the married type. Because if you don't, you're going to attract the opposite of that. So, or unavailable. Because it's like, they're going to know that I'm special. I'm the married type. And also another thing that you do, this came to me actually the other day. I was thinking about this when I was thinking about this at this conference. We have to see ourselves, we look at this from an aspect of divine feminine, divine masculine. You think of the masculine, if you see yourself as a masculine, so you're the bee, you're chasing the flowers. If you're the feminine, you are the flower. Be the flower and attract it, and just be that beautiful self that you are, and just know that you're special. You mean something, because that's also the problem too. Why do guys treat women the way they do? They're trying to get something from them. Men and women cheat for two different reasons. Women cheat because of emotional reasons. Men cheat because of they want sex, right? So you're attracting these people that are already in relationships, so they're looking at you as a sex object. They're not looking at you as something special, meaningful, something that's worth it. So you have to start viewing yourself that way. Like, all right, I am beautiful. I'm worth it. I'm special. And I am worth the time. I'm worth their complete time, not half their time, complete time. And start seeing yourself as a beautiful rose. And you're going to attract those bees to you.
There you go. I love it. I love that analogy. That's beautiful. I love it. I hope you don't mind, but I may use some of that.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I like it. That's really good. I like it. Be a rose and let them
be a rose.
It's a flower. Nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Actually,
you're that beautiful. They want that beautiful nectar from you, right?
Yeah, they do. Yes, a lot of them just want that nectar. Unfortunately,
yeah, they want the nectar. Move on, but you want them to be exclusive.
Well, I will say one thing though. It's very easy to point the finger of blame at other people, but that's why I think the mirror work is so powerful, because I can say so-and-so only sees me whatever way, however much I want. But the fact of the matter is I'm presenting a certain version of myself to people, So if I'm not in the vibration of someone who is only available for someone who's available for me, and I'm holding myself sacred, then other people will treat me sacred. And this was the hardest thing for me to bash into my head, because it's the opposite of what Hollywood tells you. It's the opposite of what society says. Society says, be sexually free, date around, enjoy yourself. But the reality is that ends up with a lot of broken hearts, a lot of children without fathers, and a lot of people who wonder what's wrong with them. And the reality is no one will tell them that you can't expect to find your soulmate if you see every man you come across as a possible soulmate, if you sleep with whoever wants to sleep with you, and if you dress in ways that attract that kind of attention. I mean, it was so shocking to me. I did an experiment. It was 2 summers ago. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see what kind of a difference it makes if I totally cover up my body. Because let me tell you, I have a banging body and I would love to show it off. I loved it so much. But I sort of thought that that can't possibly affect anything. But it was shocking. Within 1 week of completely hiding my body, I no longer had any of the harassment I used to deal with. Not a single bit. Even the stuff that would happen online with people that I'd known my whole life. Suddenly they weren't hitting me up either. And they couldn't even see me. It's not like I was posting different pictures on the internet. These were just people who could feel the difference in my vibration, because it's not anything but what you put inside of yourself, but the only way to really see that is to look down at yourself. Like, people hate to say it, but how much cleavage are you showing? How much of your legs are you showing? What are you talking about to people? That's why for me, it's all about raising your own.
Yes, you're right. Keeping yourself on a higher level. Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because you can't sit back and call yourself a rose while you're showing yourself off and you're acting in a way that attracts the wrong kind of attention. But you can sit back as a sacred rose if you've done your own work, and you don't have to run around for attention. Only the right people will come to you. And
it's true. I agree. High value men who are ready to commit, they don't want their woman flashing around everything for everyone else except them.
No, they don't. And it's not.
And I mean, some people don't want to hear that, and they have a lot of controversy on social media, like, don't judge a woman by what she's wearing. You know, it's not her fault. Well, if she wants classy men, she's going to have to dress classier.
Amen.
I mean, nobody likes to hear the truth, and some people don't like coming to my tarot channel because I say it right off the bat, I don't sugarcoat anything. This is the reality. If you're coming here for guidance, I am going to be blunt with you. And sometimes that's what people need. They need to hear. See, everybody says, you know, you didn't know this past relationship was going to be this or that. Well, me personally, I've always been very highly spiritual and very highly intuitive. So from my experience, it's different than what you said. Because when I look at my past, my intuition was screaming at me saying, this isn't the person. This isn't the person. Get out, get out, get out. And here I am forcing something where my insides are screaming at me. And I believe that majority of people know, and they hear that and they refuse to listen to it, just like me. Yeah. But I've learned from the past. I've learned from that, you know, that's why I started the channel. Like, I've realized my spirituality. I've realized what my childhood had been. I realized why I didn't fit in a room full with even my family. I always felt different and alone. And I was always able to pick up things and predict things since I was a little girl, you know, and my dad would always tell me, don't talk about those things. You know, they're going to lock you up. And I'm like, okay. And I was raised in the 80s. And you know what? In all reality, I probably would have. You know, I went through a very spiritual period from the time I was 11, starting to see and hear things that I didn't know what was happening to me. And I was told to just shut that out. And I did for many years. And I always felt like something was missing. It was like the universe has been using me since I can remember. And here I am pushing it away. And since I've embraced it, my whole life has changed, has completely changed. You know, there's no fear of judgment. There's no fear if people are here for me or not. Like, I know exactly who I am. I am aligned with my purpose, and whoever is coming in will come in, whether to teach me a lesson or to stay. But either way, I will not reject that because I will always grow. I want to always grow and be better as a person for myself, you know, be happier and peaceful within myself. And I really believe growth is so, so important. I can't specify. You watch my channel, I'll tell you all the time, the Hermit is the smartest one for me out of all of them. The Hermit is the only one that actually goes within, like, intro. You know, they're not pointing the finger at everybody else. They're actually looking at themselves and going, okay, let me look at the overall picture. You know, let me really see how I played a part. And I think that everybody should really do that. Everybody should really focus on empathy. Like, really putting yourself into somebody else's shoes. In order to become that introspective hermit, you need to have empathy. You need to be empathetic to see, listen, nobody's perfect. All right. And if you're looking for perfect, it doesn't exist. I'm not perfect. I would never claim to be perfect. I'm a full-blooded Portuguese who has a temper sometimes, okay? And I'll admit it, but I've controlled that. I know what my faults are. I know how to work them. I know how to work around them because I've spent so much time in that hermit mode, just trying to utilize and internalize myself. And everybody should really focus on that. I'm just being honest. My point of view, I guess.
No, that's absolutely correct. I mean, I think you find yourself as you get older too. You start to feel comfortable with yourself. And that's the other thing. You start out as a child, a teenager, you're kind of like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm about. I don't know what to wear, you know, all those kinds of things. But as you get older, you kind of start to become more comfortable with yourself, and it just automatically happens anyway. But as far as just having affirmations and saying, okay, I'm going to really be, you know, attract that. But you also got to do the shadow work too. You also got to go through the hypnotherapy. You got to work through this trauma. You got to do the soul retrieval. You got to call your energy back. That's all a part of that too, because there's something within you that's causing that to happen. So you have to figure out what was that event that caused that to happen and call that energy back to you. So you're more of a complete person.
Yeah. Let's go further into calling our energy back. Because when we are obsessing about a guy and stuff, or like just someone comes into our life, sometimes they're just energy vampires straight up. Like, they just take our energy. And so, yeah, Sam.
Yeah, Yeah, like Jennifer said, like applying, I mean, the way to get away from that is actually just taking back your energy. Like she said, do art. If you're into art, apply that energy into the art. I mean, you can't just sit back and just tell yourself, I'm pulling my energy back. I'm not responding to emails. I'm not responding to text messages. That's not pulling your energy back. You're not doing any of the work to change your energy to push this person either towards you or out of your life so something better can come in.
That's
okay.
true.
The universe will take people out for a reason because there's usually something better that you never expected was there ever.
True.
So it's very important. Like Jennifer says, whatever you like, what your interests are, apply them there. Apply that energy there. Don't sit around just saying, I took my energy back. I'm still sitting here thinking about this person. See, when you apply things that you like into your everyday life, now there's less time for you to think about that person. Now you're working on you. So you're actually taking that time to better you. You're changing your energy by doing that, by applying these things towards yourself.
Yeah.
So that's how you pull your energy back. I don't know if Jennifer has any other better techniques, but she's really good. She's been doing this a lot longer than me. So
Can I interrupt, please? Okay. So this is my friend Sam, and she has like some cool cord cutting techniques, which techniques have worked for me. So go ahead, Sam.
Hi. I didn't know I was saying anything. Yeah, no, I just keep it really simple, right? Like I'll just like dance around or like clap and straight up just be like, this is my energy. And then like that kind of wipes the slate clean. And then I get to refocus on what I'm doing, right? Like whatever I'm in the middle of. It's more like if I have like an intrusive thought of like something or someone that I feel like, oh, they're coming to get my energy. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yes.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Sam. I love that. I tried it yesterday and I felt so much better after and wasn't thinking about it. Then I was just like feeling the energy of the clapping and just like, yeah. So Jennifer, sorry, go ahead.
Well, there's definitely different techniques you can do for that, right? You can use the cord cutting where you're using a pair of scissors and you're seeing, okay, energetically you're taking that away, right? Because when you break up with somebody, what happens is you have this little cord that's attached to that person, and there are different levels that cord is attached, depending on that connection that was developed. So let's say there's a lot of times where people just connected sexually. So you got that cord right there. So that's not really a healthy way of establishing a connection. When you want to establish a connection with another guy, okay, first you want to build it up, because guys establish connections differently. They're more of emotional bond kind of thing. So if they have something going on in their lives, they're going to bond with you because you're going to be there for them. So you first want to start at that friend level with them. Okay, so that's also another way of creating a deeper connection.
Yes.
Instead of just jumping right in, going into a sexual situation with them, try to draw it out more and try to build that friendship, build it on a spiritual level, build it on a love level before you even go there sexually with them. That's another thing that you have to remember, because we're all connected and we're connecting with that person on different levels. So that's when you have a breakup, you're feeling that pain. I don't know if you guys are very intuitive. You'll feel when you break up with that person, you'll feel certain chakras that'll be activated that'll feel the pain in those areas. So like if you talk to that person a lot and you broke up with them, you'll feel it in the throat chakra, the heart chakra. And if you've had a sexual relationship with them and you break up with them, you feel it in the, the sexual chakra. So, but also we have to remember, why are we here? We're here to raise our vibration. We're here to go to another level, right? It starts with what we're eating. It starts what we're listening to. It starts with what we're talking to ourselves about every day. It starts with the music. It starts with the art. It starts with all the things. We have to kind of look at that, examine that, so that we can raise our vibration. You're automatically going to attract somebody and protect your energy if you have a higher vibration. If you're in a lower state of sadness, anxiety, and pain, of course you're going to attract somebody on that lower level, right? And that's even with black magic or somebody who means you harm. You can do things to raise your vibration up where it's not even going to touch you, because technically, when you're in a sexual relationship with somebody, or you're dating somebody and you get in a sexual relationship, you're taking all those attachments they have if you had sex with them, and you're gonna put those attachments onto you. So that's also another thing. Sex should be treated more sacred.
Yes.
Our relationship should be treated more like divine connections, right? Like real, actual divine feminine, divine masculine. Instead of saying, I want to go there for enjoyment and entertainment. Most people are using these relationships and sexual encounters as enjoyment things, not a, this is a divine connection that I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. So if we start just changing that mindset, changing the vibration, and then also working on ourselves, we're automatically going to attract that person anyway. So
it's so true. I like to tell people that come to, ask about where their soulmate. I do like soulmate private readings and stuff. And I'll always try to tell them that there's about looking for like your soulmate. You have to be very open to it, and you have to be able to distinguish what a guy really wants from you. So if you're talking to a guy and the guy starts on the first time, or even the second day of conversation on the phone or text message that has anything to do with sex, he's not serious about you or about any woman at all. Any high value man, just like woman, should not be talking about sex. And if you go into the topic, usually one of you will, both of you will cut it off and be like, okay, we can't go down that line. Let's just break it off. Good night. We'll talk tomorrow. Because that was a high value conversation. That's a high value man. He's open to a long committed relationship. He's trying to get you on a friendship level. Nobody wants to be with somebody just on a sexual level. Okay. There's got to be other things there. There's got to be character, morals. There's got to be good ethics. There's got to be good things that you need. You can't just need a physical thing. Okay. There's so much more to that. So a guy knows that too. And it's just like Jennifer said, most guys are very emotional. They only love you on an emotional standpoint, not through a physical connection, but through an emotional connection, which means you have to build that friendship in order to get that guy to fall for you. Because see, the first thing about a guy, he's driven to you by the physical aspect. Okay. So he's going to work. Right. So he's going to push. He's going to be into you first physically. Now, he's either going to touch the subject on sex, and if he does, cut him loose. If that's not what you're looking for. If you are, hey, to each his own. All right. If that's not what you're looking, you need to cut him loose. Say, listen, this is not the type of conversation. Obviously not looking for what I'm looking for. Now, if you find a guy who's not touching the subject, he's trying to build a friendship, which means now this guy is taking actually the time to see whether you are a good fit for him in the future or not. If the guy goes into the sex talk, he's not looking for commitment. I'm sorry. I say this all the time. Women don't like to hear it, but it's true. I always get, but and then he comes back to me after a few weeks. Well, real love doesn't just throw you to the side for 2 weeks. Just not think about what your emotions or what you're feeling and not communicate about it. This is not real love. Real love is unconditional. You should be there, and you should also be very empathetic for the person that you claim you love.
And like sometimes you think, like for my own experience, like sometimes I think I am emanating that I want commitment and want to like wait a long time for sex, but then like the way I'm actually like presenting myself is like a default of how I've always been before, which is like thinking that they want me like this, like flirty and like sexy, and then that is what they're seeing me as. So like,
and once most men that are not non-committal that are working towards that, and they're talking the subject of sex, you're feeding into it right away. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get her in bed. Guess what? He's going to take as long as it takes you to give it to him. So let's say I've had women make a guy wait like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. The guy put in so much work. Good mornings, good nights, checking on them in the afternoon. And guess what? Every time she talked to this guy, she always said it was very quick, short, kind of text messages, but it always ended up in a sexual conversation. So I told her, he's gaslighting you, or he's love bombing you. He's going to try to get sex. And once he does, he's going to go. He's going to ghost you. He's going to go. It's true. This is very factual, and a lot of women don't like to hear it. But this is what I signed up for today. I really hope many people watch this, because as women, stop acting like you want something, but you're acting and perceiving a different way to the men. Yeah. You know, if you want something, stick to your guns. The right people will stay. The right guy will stay. It's just...
That's the important thing that we tend to forget about with the divine feminine. The divine masculine is very protective, but as women, we have to protect our own boundaries. We're the only ones who can create that. So we get caught up thinking like, well, I'm in a woman's body, so I need to be in my divine feminine. What about your divine masculine? You got to balance both of them within you. Just because you got one set of genitalia doesn't mean the whole other set of qualifications doesn't apply to you. In fact, it's the opposite. When you meet a man who is fully in his divine masculine and feminine, you know what? That dude is super sensitive. He'll talk about everything emotional, but he'll also be really strong and have this protector security vibe. In fact, the guys that tend to present the most masculine, when you look at them, when you have a relationship with them, it's like their feminine comes out that you never would have expected if you just saw them walking along the street. And the honest truth is that women that are fully in their divine power are the same way. They show up super feminine in the way that they present themselves to the world, but when you get to know them, you realize how strong and protective they are of their boundaries, and that's their divine masculine. You don't see that when someone has a female body, but that's where we need to start recognizing that the body that our soul chose for us, that God chose for us, that's part of the lesson. It's not to change your body to what you feel more like spiritually. That is such a bastardization of what the divine masculine and feminine is. It's about accepting that this is the body that I have. Now I need to work with the masculine and feminine parts of myself and bring them into union so I attract my perfect mate. It's not going to come until you've done that inner work, so you might as well do it. You're never going to find it until you're strong. It's such an unspoken thing. We all have that divine masculine, even though we have breasts and a vagina.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah, and I think another thing, like I was just watching this sermon that Sam sent me, and he was talking about like homosexuality and like being attracted to the same sex, and how that might be like an identity crisis, like not fully like accepting what body you are in and like liking the opposite of it. I just thought that was like, I think
when I find myself, in my experience, it's a wound. When I find myself attracted to women more, it's because of my bad experiences with men have tainted my desire for men. So it just seems easier to go for women. People always say, oh, it's a choice. You know what? It's a choice to keep going down a path that doesn't lead to more creation. Everything is creation or destruction, just like everything is love or fear. And I mean, you can't create new life outside of a heterosexual relationship. Like it's possible with a bunch of science stuff, but a lot of weird stuff is possible with weird science. You know what I mean? So it's not a popular opinion. People hate it and say you're not being accepting, but that is the other side of the coin. People have the right to choose whether or not they want to heal, because you're exactly right, Anna. Once you start the healing process, it never ends. And that is the hurdle people don't want to get over. They don't want to think I have to be healing the rest of my life. What is this? It seems crazy. But once you do it long enough, you start to realize that actually is the whole journey. Once you start healing, it never ends. So it's a choice. Am I going to stay here and be hurt and fight against the world, fight against the government, fight against everyone else? Or am I going to surrender to God and let God heal me? It's hard at first, but once you get used to it, it flows.
It's true. I tell everybody, healing or coming to an awakening and doing shadow work, it doesn't feel comfortable.
No.
It doesn't feel comfortable at all. And I think people, as they start and they have to dig and feel that all over again, they push it away because they don't want to do it. But then they're also causing themselves, like you said, it's a choice. They're causing themselves to stay stuck. It's like you don't want the same results, but you're choosing to not go down a different path.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but Albert Einstein said it best. Taking the same path and hitting yourself against the same wall, that's the definition of insanity. It really is. Going down the same path and expecting different results is a definition of insanity.
Yes, exactly. And I think that maybe like people, like I'll just talk about myself. So when I have like a lack of motivation to put in the work for these techniques, because it's a lot, like we've talked about a lot today, and that's great, but like actually applying it for the average Joe, they may just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna be into girls because it's easier, you know? And I've like had that thought a lot recently. I'm like, okay, boys just aren't working out, but I know I can put in the spiritual work to do that. And it is like what Miriam was saying, like it's a, what were you saying? Not crisis, but you said a different word.
Oh, well, it's
It's
gender and sexuality issues all are rooted in some kind of
a
pain.
wound.
It's unhealed, and it's hard work. I can't imagine if I had been born knowing that I was attracted to women over men, how hard that would be. Because when it happens that early, it's like you feel like it's something that, you know, God put on you. And so it's like, this must be the path you're meant to walk. But, you know, we come into this life with a certain set of challenges to overcome. And once we work through those challenges, we get the gift at the end. So it's not like we're doing all this hard work on planet Earth so we can get to heaven, because heaven is looking at our circumstances in a mindset that recognizes that this is all happening for me. Hell is thinking things are happening to me and I'm a victim, and that's the problem. So it's like you can totally take this two directions. You can say, okay, I don't want to heal myself, but I'm going to find a way to feel good being homosexual in a culture that doesn't support that. And that's a valid choice you can make. You are allowed to choose that. But if you choose that path, you're also choosing a harder route in a lot of other areas. Just like if you choose the path of healing, it's going to be really hard to be more traditional and to constantly do the self-healing work to keep yourself on the path that you choose. But again, that's the choice. There's no right or wrong. You know, thousands of years ago, there were ritual sacrifices to the gods of children that had been done for weeks, and that was just commonly accepted. We don't commonly accept that now. We call that abusive. But is it? That was just their religion. Their religion's just different from ours, and the culture has changed around these things. So there's not a right or wrong, and we can see that clearly when we look at the past. I did this thing because I thought it was right, but now I recognize that it was wrong, and it's fluid. So it's not about judging the choices. It's about deciding, what do you want? Do you want to heal, or do you not want to? You can get to heaven both ways. But which way?
I would say that heaven can be here right now. You don't have to wait to go to heaven. Heaven can
I agree too. I agree with that too, Jennifer.
And as far as the divine feminine, divine masculine, I like to go at it as, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as more as a divine feminine or a divine masculine, and to live that life? Because you know what, there's been situations throughout history where eunuchs and stuff like that. This has been a thing where we've done this as humans, you know, because our soul is both masculine and feminine. We go to the other side, there's no difference. So we have to stop also defining that too, because it's about bringing those together and being one. That's the purpose of the divine feminine, divine masculine. It's a union to rise the vibration up, right? So I don't know if any of you guys have had any experience of Kundalini or any kind of Shakti experiences, but when you make love to a person, and you truly love that person truly loves you, you come together, you have a Shakti experience, and it raises that vibration up. You feel immense love, and it goes all the way up, and you feel it go all the way up. When you have a Kundalini experience, it's when you're extremely attracted to that person sexually, and it brings that energy up. But our job is to bring both energies up at the same time, because this is really the real aspect of what we're doing here is to evolve ourselves, right? It's not about focusing on, okay, this sexuality, that sexuality. We both are masculine, feminine. So it's just how you identify yourself and how you bring that together. So you you feel like you're a divine masculine, then go with that. Then you're a divine masculine. Then I would say if you're a divine feminine, then you would pretend like The egg doesn't go to the sperm goes to the egg. So if you're feminine, you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to attract that to me. If you are divine masculine, you're going to go out and you're going to go get it. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go chase this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So it's just looking at that from a different perspective. You know, these are just bodies, but these aren't real. This isn't real reality. We're all collective dreams. We're all consciously making this reality together. So that's the reason why we're all watching news. We're all being programmed in a certain way. And we have to unprogram that about ourselves, that this is a physical body. We're energy. We have to start relearning that we're energy. And then we can change a lot about our reality and how we manifest and who we attract. And I would also say to you, Sky, one of the techniques that you can start doing is envisioning yourself. And you can do this before you go in bed. Like all these techniques that we're giving you, you can do it in an everyday situation. You don't have to have a ritual space. You can meditate in the shower. You can go to walk in the park and meditate. I mean, it just depends. You could be running on a treadmill and meditate. Okay. It's just seeing it from a different way. You could be cleaning your bathroom. All right, I'm gonna move all my blockages. Okay.
It's so true.
You can do this on the everyday aspect. You don't have to have some special altar set up or anything. Just do it. Think about it. When I put my makeup on, I'm beautiful. I'm gorgeous. Yeah. Attracting this and the other. I'm going to get the guy today. That today is going to be the day that I'm going to have the best day of my life. And you wake up and you're like, this is the blessings that I have. Okay. So what it doesn't have to be a special thing. You can do this every day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Driving in the car. It doesn't matter. Before bed, all day. That's how I manifested. I mean, I just still do it. Like you can do it. Like I do it in the shower. Yeah. I say it out loud.
Perfect way to manifest. Yeah.
I think that my
so what I was trying to say was
happened.
I wasn't meaning that. I was talking about like people that and how I've experienced lately, like with the sexuality thing, like, oh, maybe I should just go for girls and give up. I do that, but there's still underlying wounds that attract who I'm attracting, regardless of, it's like aligning what I'm doing. Like I will have the best energy walking. That's my meditation. Listening to my favorite music and dancing on the side of the street. That is my favorite meditation. And it's like, I can do that all day long, but if I still have like underlying like issues with self-worth and self-love, it's just like, I guess it just takes more time to really chip away at all of those things. But for the last 5 minutes, I would love to hear what every individual's definition of heaven is, because I found that super interesting.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Who wants to start? Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay, go Mary.
Okay, I went first last time, so I was like, somebody going to take the lead this time, or else I will. I don't mind.
So to me, heaven is a state of mind, always accessible to me, but it's a choice, and I have to be conscious to make that choice. But it's always worth it.
Sam?
I really don't know. Right? Like I'm open to anything. I don't know. I think there are things that feel very like in alignment, right? But then there's also things that feel different. So I don't know.
I feel that.
I like to think that heaven lives within us. And I think it happens when we really find our self-worth, everything changes. And I mean, people that have been through it realize it, and other people who are still struggling with healing and then they stop because it's too much work, or they feel like things are not happening fast enough, they need to get put in that temperance energy and be more patient. And really, like, if you want to attract something better, don't date and do the healing at the same time. I'm not a believer of that. I believe you need to take time away and actually refocus your energy to be at a vibration that you want to attract, because what's going to happen is you're going to come into other karmics, and then you're going to just keep building. You're going to have to heal and heal and heal.
Yeah, that's what's happening to me.
So it's important I think personally, that's my opinion. I think it's important to stop. and actually heal yourself. Like take the time for yourself. Self-worth is about self-awareness.
Yes.
You know, and I really believe that once you find yourself, your true self, I really believe that heaven lives within me. I build and I choose my heaven every day. Every day I wake up and I choose to be optimistic. Every day a negative thought will come into my head. I'm not perfect. I do what your friend Sam was saying. Turn the music on, tell it to get out. You know, you don't live here.
Yes.
You don't live here, so you need to go. Okay. Refocus yourself onto something else. You know, like I say, every day is about healing. Every day when nobody's perfect, the universe will constantly going to teach us stuff. And I believe it's as you grow, I really believe you build your own heaven, but that's just me. People think I'm crazy, but hey, to each his own.
Yeah. I believe that like, it's possible that like what you believe is what your heaven will be. So I want to believe that heaven is a state of mind and the Holy Spirit lives inside me. But I also want to believe that there's 3 heavens and the kingdom of God with golden gates and Jesus sitting in the throne. And because I believe that, that will be my reality, and like to each its own.
Thank you, Miriam. She told me I wasn't crazy. I appreciate that.
I would say if you guys watch anything about near-death experiences, there's a lot of strange stuff that happens with people. Like there are people that are other religions and they'll go to heaven, or they'll go to what their perceived heaven is, and it's completely different from what they thought it was. Okay, so I would say it depends on the lifetimes of things that you've built up within yourself, the experiences that you've gained over a period of time. Also, I would say that heaven is here right now. If you choose,
I agree with that for sure.
The earth is a sacred place.
Absolutely.
You're breathing the air, sacred breath. It's here all the time. We have heaven and earth. I mean, there's war on this country, there's war in this world, and then there's
it's so true.
Love. So it's just seeing that from a different, putting on those glasses and be like, you know what, it's all around me. It's always been.
It is. Yeah, being grateful for the little things, being stopped at a streetlight and looking at a bird and actually feeling the bird's energy and how the bird feels flying free is all about being into a spiritual awakening. Being grateful for life. Listen, if anybody who believes in a higher being, okay, if anybody believes that this planet was created from somebody in a higher being, think about how eccentric our planet is. Think about how one little thing being removed will kill this whole planet. It's so eccentric. Like they created us just as eccentric. And people forget that whoever created this planet, whatever your religion is, whoever you see as your higher power, your creator. Everybody has different beliefs, but one thing is true in all religion is that everybody believes in something higher. Okay. Yep. So you have to believe in your own religion. Okay. This planet was created so eccentric. What about me? Well, you were created eccentric too. What about that bird? Oh, that bird was created eccentric too. Oh, look, the bees, the ducks, the water, the ocean, the fish, everything has a meaning and a purpose behind it, just like you.
Exactly. And when you have a spiritual awakening, you feel it. You feel that.
Yes.
I'm actually that bird.
Yes, I felt it this morning. I dropped my kid off at school. I was sitting at the light. He was watching his movie in the DVD, and I saw this blue jay literally flying and landed on a tree. And as I'm watching this bird fly, I had this big smile on my face, and I was like, wow, how free would I feel to be that bird right now? Like to fly and go wherever I want. And I was like, wow, imagine how that bird must feel to feel so free. Like how grateful it is to like be that way, you know? And like that, I think that's what it is. Just being grateful for everything. Just looking at something with that pure innocence of a child before all of us got broken by our lessons. And this is where humans falter. They forget to live in that innocence when you're a kid, before everything comes down, when people break us and they damage us, you know, but we allow it. We're allowing it. So it's very important to just learn from it and find that innocence again. And once you find that innocence again, that childlike joy, that childlike innocence, that's when you start to look at everything almost for the first time, like all over again. It's like, oh my God, where have I been for the last 30 years?
Yeah.
Where was I?
Yes, I think I really liked something my cousin told me. She was like the higher self is like equal to the Holy Spirit. Like it's all just a language difference, you know, and maybe God puts a different like strength or like a religion that we're more drawn to in our hearts, so we can be the advocate to be like, oh wow, this is my like point of view on spirituality. They sound really similar, but there's different lingo to it, and maybe God wanted me to represent Jesus while you represent like Zen, Buddhism, Hinduism, you know what I mean? So I find that like if I don't stay true to what's in my heart and what I believe and what I'm drawn to, I'm not being in self-love. I'm not being in self-worth. So I think that's where it starts for me.
I would say too, also you're trying to discover your true path. Okay. I was raised Roman Catholic. So I definitely was living that life of the whole Jesus situation there. So I'm pretty, but what I did was I started doing comparative religions. I started looking at, okay, you know, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Christianity, Jewish religion, you know, and comparing them and looking at the different texts and seeing the similarities.
Yeah.
Seeing that Krishna was similar to Jesus, and like seeing that there's Gilgamesh, there was older stories when it came to Noah. So looking at the commonality of that and understanding that everything is the same. We're just perceiving it different because of our cultural values and because, you know, that's how it developed over the years. But start seeing it more as a broader perspective and seeing that divinity is within you, that you're a co-creator with God, and that we're all collectively making this reality. I would say that's probably more the things I would probably focus in on and trying to see it in a bigger perspective. The overall perspective. I think the problem is with religion, it kind of goes more into like, that's the details of this. That's the details of that. They start seeing it as the bigger picture.
True. They can't see outside the box. They don't have open minds to grasp somebody else's concept. They're very closed-minded. Like it's like walking around with horse blinders on. They only see their interpretation. They can't see outside of the box. Like I'm with Jennifer. I grew up in a Catholic home. My older sister wanted to be a nun, and I fought the Catholic Church with my parents since I can remember because it didn't make sense to me. There's a lot of questions that don't make sense, but I'm very spiritual, and I definitely believe in a higher power. I call it the universe. That's my God. Okay. This planet, this earth, to me, heaven lives here within me. And that's what I believe. Right. So, but everybody has their own belief system. I'm not going to judge anybody on what they believe, because that's not what I'm here for. But I definitely don't believe in, me personally, I don't believe that there's only one. I don't believe that there's so many religions that really should be existing. I really believe that there's only one creator. And I think that, you know, if anybody believes that there's only one creator, it's impossible to have all these religions and really be real. So, and you have to be able to look outside of the box to even get to that mentality, to even believe that this is true, because most religion, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate right now by saying this, but it's okay. A lot of religion are cults, and they're very just viewed on their own mindset, like Jennifer said, and they kind of they can't look at somebody's other view because they've been so programmed to just look at it that way. And it's like Jennifer said, we're at a point where we need to unteach ourselves some of the things that society has been teaching us. I mean, some of the stuff that people walk around believing is just, it's going to be a very cold world in the future if people don't start healing. Because some of the readings I've done, personal readings, it breaks my heart. People are chasing married people. People are waiting for married people. People are like, you know, we need to heal as a world, like as planet Earth, as human race. People need to really focus on themselves instead of pointing the finger at everybody else. Because, okay, there's also this mentality going on social media. I hear all the time about dating, and like in your 20s now, you have people in the younger society now, and this generation talking about how I'm not going to respect you if you don't respect me. I'm not going to respect you unless you respect me. See, I grew up in a house in a different generation where if you didn't give respect, you didn't get it. So if everybody in this society is thinking with this mentality of,
Yes.
I'm only going to give you respect if you give me respect. I want you all to think about what I'm about to say. Then nobody is getting respect because nobody is giving it.
That's a good point. A very good point.
Yeah.
How can anybody get respect if nobody's giving it?
Yeah.
I would love to just say that, like, what my spirituality is, and I think like Miriam and Sam can relate, is like we love Jesus, like we love Christ consciousness, and like
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope, there isn't.
Not so much religion. It's not religion. So I just wanted to clarify that, because
There's nothing wrong.
It can be very closed-minded.
It doesn't matter what you believe in. It's the most important part. It doesn't matter what religion. Yes. It's about what you believe in yourself and how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
How many people go to church day in, day out, and they feel nothing? It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing with relationships. How many people have I run across where I've had reads with guys and they'll tell me, I've never been in love before. You know, I got with this person because they went to the same college and it was a convenient situation. And you know, it all fit together and I'm unhappy. Well, why don't you try just following your heart? So I would say with religion, do the same thing. Follow your heart. That feels right to you and within yourself.
That's how we roll.
No right or wrong.
We rock with Jesus, but we rock following our hearts and like our Jesus, you know?
Yeah, no worries.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Anybody can believe in whatever they believe and they're entitled to. And believe it or not, it is nobody's job to judge you and your belief system. Okay. Judgment should not exist. I'm being honest with you. I don't believe in judgment. I don't think that anybody should judge anybody, but you should, as a high value, self-aware, self-worth kind of person, you should have boundaries and you should not let them cross it.
Yeah, there's no condemnation in Christ. So that's totally turned me away from the church before, is the judgment that I felt. And
you do have to keep somebody accountable for how their actions are. And sometimes sometimes we have to make a judgment call.
Yeah, but not
on whether we stay or we go, or whether we're going to hold that person. Can we forgive that person for what they did? Can we not? You know, can I live the rest of it? If somebody cheats on you, I have so many people come at me with tarot readings about, okay, my spouse cheated on me. I'm having a hard time trusting. Well, of course you do. Of course you're having a hard time trusting. You're going to spend the rest of your life, if you don't heal and actually forgive, like really forgive, you're going to spend the rest of your life wondering what he's doing. Is that a way to live?
Yeah, and that's
so sad.
The point. Forgiveness.
Yeah, they won't forgive.
Go ahead, Miriam.
It's because the fact of the matter is, if you look at my spouse cheating on me as something that happened to me, then of course I'm going to obsess over it happening again. But if I recognize this happened to develop faith in me and forgiveness and never ending unconditional love, then suddenly that cheating is a blessing. But it's such a mind warp compared to what your therapist will tell you, or even your church. Most of the churches think that, well, if it's cheating, then you can get divorced because that's adultery. But that's not unconditional love. That's not what Jesus would say for sure.
Yeah. Right.
I second that. If it's an unhealthy marriage, like God wouldn't want you to stay in it. And then like condemnation, the definition is like to punish, like to like patronize, like be above someone. So I think like there's different approaches. You could be like, hey person, please like take full responsibility for your actions. Like I take full responsibility for like letting you into my life and I'm accountable for what happened. But I don't think there needs to be condemnation.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, and I definitely don't believe that anybody should beg or beg anybody to stay with you. You know, it's just, you know, somebody who wants to stay will stay.
Yeah. You know?
So somebody who wants to be there for you is going to be there for you, and you don't have to do anything. That happens. You
won't have to beg. They're going to respect you and be empathetic for you and show you that they're there for you.
Mm-hmm. And if they don't respect, then it's your job to lay down the line and say, look, this is what I'm going to put up with. This is my line in this again. And if you're going to cross this line, then I'm leaving. I'm out of here.
Correct.
And
It's
you
very
have
important.
you have to be strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
You have to know. I would say also, when in the healing process, a good probably thing to do would be to kind of figure out who you are as a person, and to figure out what are my boundaries, what are the things that I will be able to put up with and won't be able to put up with. That's about also learning about who you are as a person too, because that's how you become a stronger, more solid person. Is understanding those things about yourself.
So one thing I will say is, when we were talking about like not dating while you're healing, I actually disagree with that, because things come up when you get to know other people and are in that type environment. Like, I learned something about myself that I didn't know before that I needed to heal through. And I was talking to Anna on the phone, and I was like, I went on a date with this guy, and he asked me if we could be in a polyamorous relationship. And I had to think about it for a second, and it made me get closer to who I am, what I believe in, what my boundaries are, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that there's different.
I really agree with that, because my divorce was so awful because that relationship was so terrible. But I don't think I have fully healed until I started with my current partner. And it is a continual process of healing, because my trust was so broken, and I could only get so far by myself. Because that's the thing, at the end of the day, if you're just going to be healing the rest of your life and you can't be dating while you're healing, well, then you're a hermit and you're not a part of society anymore. And that's what we talk about in yoga. Like, we're meant to be householders. We're meant to be living.
I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, you work on yourself, you work on self-love, and you do the stuff that you love to do. And as a result, that person's going to come to you, because you're a flower. And if you're a divine feminine, you're attracting that.
I agree with her. I mean, Jennifer's not stating that while you're healing, you shouldn't be meeting anybody. Well, I would tell you to stop dating and work on yourself, because the real guy's coming in. I agree with her. I would give my same viewers and clients. Yeah, I would tell them. I agree with you. I would tell them the same exact thing.
That's a disservice to that person that I was attracted to, that wanted to go on a date with me, because then we both got to learn something. It was an exchange of like seeing where we're both at, because sometimes you can't see in your own self where you're at. So I needed to go through that to get to where I'm at now, so I can be closer to attracting the person that is coming for me, rather than just being at home alone, being a hermit, working on myself.
You're going to go through. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say real quick. The reason why we're saying this is because the problem is, a lot of times we attract rebounds.
Yes.
When you get in a rebound relationship, that's a temporary relationship. That's not going to be a relationship you're going to be, because you're at a place where you're sad, you're lonely, you're upset, you're angry. That's exactly what you're drawing to you. If you're looking at this from a mirror effect, that's the problem with doing that.
It is a mirror.
So I'd like to chime in really quickly with a yes and, right? Both of these things are true. You can, my take, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But if you date while you are in a period of intense healing, right? Because we're always healing. Sometimes the journey is like easier, right? Like sometimes the backpack has like a boulder in it, and sometimes it has a pebble, but like we're always walking. So like if you, while you have a boulder, go on dates with people, then you're prolonging it almost, right? Like that person's making you walk slower, and you have a boulder in your backpack. But if you go by yourself, you get to like run if you want, if you can. And then when your boulder like gets to where it's a pebble, right? Like then that's when like other people can come in, and it's like, okay, this is cool, because like my backpack's really light, so we can just like mosey and learn things as we go, versus like I've got a boulder in my backpack, like come on bro, like hurry up, like we got to get like this boulder is killing me, right? So I think it's a yes and in that way.
Yeah, Miriam and I were talking on the phone, and like I feel like sometimes like us intuitive spiritual people will take a side knowing that the other side is true as well. So I think that's what we just did. No one is right or wrong. They're both like two ways.
Everything is neutral.
Everything is neutral. Yeah. There's no good or bad or right or wrong. Like It's what approach you want to do. And I agree with you guys in the way that like it would be like saving a lot of time if your intuition could tell you immediately, is that person the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with or not? But it was a really fun date. I listened to great music and I wouldn't have not wanted to go on that date because it was so much fun and I wanted to have fun. I'm always alone. So I think it goes both ways. It's like, yeah, agree to all perspectives.
And just a
I
fun
love
thought,
it.
right? Like
There
a
you go.
date.
Huh?
I just want to drop like one more quick aside. Like a date doesn't have to be anything more than a date, right? Like we're
Yeah,
talking
it
about
was
like
just a date.
manifesting love and like all that. That's great, beautiful. We love that.
Yes.
And I'd be going on dates with
Amen.
people and like I'm just like hanging out.
Amen, sister.
Like
I know it's not really going anywhere, but and like I think maybe that's the being real with myself that I could come to, like be like, this is just a date and be okay with that. Not like
Listen,
making
I don't mean to jump in here, but it's like what Jennifer said earlier. As you get older, that's when you really start to heal. And that's when you really start to grow, I think, as you learn the lessons. You're 20, going to be 26.
Right.
I think you're still learning your lessons. So you're going to want to go out. You're going to explore. You're going to do this. You're going to do that because guess what? You still have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to learn is by going through these things.
I agree.
Okay. So it's okay. Whatever your journey is will be your journey. Follow your instincts because it will lead you either to forever or it's going to lead you to lessons that you are going to apply into that forever person that in turn grows you into that forever person for them.
Yeah, I agree. And my mom, this is my mom, and we were talking about yesterday. Like,
hi guys.
We were
Sorry,
talking
I'm just popping on, but I have heard everything, and y'all are amazing, all of you.
Thank you.
We were talking about like experience versus like wisdom. So depending on how old you are you more wise automatically? Does experience equate wisdom or does it not? And my perspective was no, it doesn't. No. We're all learning lessons every day, and there could be someone younger.
I believe
more wise.
I believe in reincarnation. So I believe that we have many lifetimes. Either you're a new soul or you're an old soul. And I really believe that a lot of the tarot readers or people who talk about spirituality or self-worth and go through all that, I believe they're like people like my whole life, even as a kid, I've had people older than me tell me, wow, you're like 30 years old. You're 5, but you're like 30. You're an old soul. So I've always been a person where my friends come to me for advice and they want to hear what my opinions are because it seems to help all the time. And as you get older, you start to realize, wow, when you start to fit into your spirituality, the things that, like Jennifer says, you know, you grow up in a certain mindset, right, of your environment. So we've been molded a certain way as we get older. And it is our job to find our true selves, not what our parents, not what our guides wanted us, but who we are supposed to be. Yeah. And in order to do that, you got to follow the journey. Okay. And there's people that are older souls that are wiser as they grow up. And yeah, they're young, but they talk like they've lived it forever, you know? And then you have younger souls who are listening to these wiser souls as they're getting older. And sometimes you'll learn from them and sometimes you won't. So it all depends on your own decision. Listen to people around you. Are you going to be the type of person that's going to pick up someone's wisdom and obtain it to your lessons and learn the lessons so you don't have to learn it by actually physically, literally learning it yourself? Or are you going to be the person that needs to learn it for yourself? Yeah. It all comes by a choice. We all have choices at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think both ways are equally relevant. Like either you learn by getting the lesson slapped in your face. That's my approach because I need to really like get yelled at for like something to wake me up. Yeah. Otherwise I won't learn the lesson. So also I didn't set up a boundary of that I want monogamy for myself for surezies until I went on that polyamorous date, like did the pros and cons, really thought about it and was like, oh, hell no. And then I learned, and I wouldn't have had that boundary just by learning from Anna or you or Sam or any of you telling me like, you need to have boundaries about like monogamy, Sky. I needed to go through the experience. So, and I think the bottom line is, as long as you are pragmatism, you learn from the lessons that you did learn, then it doesn't matter what approach you take.
No, and that's what keeps
taking the
people
lessons
still
of the past and applying them in the future, which
into the now. So if you keep that mindset, every experience that you have going forward, even if it doesn't work out, as long as you look at it as I learned and now I'm a much wiser, stronger, know who I am as a person, then you're going to look at it as not wasted time. Because I think people, as they get older, they look at these past relationships as wasted time.
Yeah.
Right.
And they refuse to look within it and actually be like, okay, this wasn't a waste of time. I learned this. So that's, I think, the most, and that to me comes with gratitude, being grateful for life's lessons, being grateful for everything that comes your way, instead of looking at it as, oh my God, this is going to put me back. It's going to put you back if you choose for it to put you back.
Yes. And I think sometimes God, like, or the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, will be sneaky. Like sometimes like we'll be put into those lessons like from that source, you know?
Oh, absolutely. The universe is going, after you're done healing a certain thing, the universe is going to call that person back into your life to see if you actually learned your lesson or not. And I tell everybody this. I tell everybody, you think that guy's gone? He ain't gone yet. You're healed, but the universe is going to be like, hey, baby, check this out. Ding, ring a ding, ding.
Yes.
Now it's up to you. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Have you actually learned your lesson? The universe is testing you now. Have you learned your lesson? And now it is your opportunity to answer the call of the universe. And you have the choice to answer the call. Have you learned or have you not? If you've learned, the universe is going to be like, now I can give you what you need.
Yeah.
If you haven't, I'm sorry, it's the blockage. You're telling the universe you're not ready.
Because every single event like leads to the next. So if you're paying attention and you're present in the moment and you learn this lesson and you're doing pragmatism, that when it comes along, you'll be able to.
Or it's going to be like Jennifer said, or you're going to just keep getting the same type of people over and over and over again until you get it right. And some people get it right. And then some people live like this till the day they leave this earth. So it's all a choice. Like she says, everything is a choice at the end of the day.
All right, my darlings, I love you guys. I have to
go too. I got to go get my son at school, guys.
Thank you, everyone. This
really amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Discover from that near-death experience.
This meeting is being recorded.
She's recording you.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, that's where I feel like I've had a few other experience, it's like, I know it happened. I feel like I get I call them like hits or something. Sometimes I feel like I know something that there's no way I would know it. Right. And so same as when you said, like giving people advice, but I've had some kooky experiences, as Sky knows. Like one time I thought something in my head and it happened. And then the person did what I wanted. And I look at them and I go, are you a mind reader? Literally. And she goes, as a matter of fact, I am. She had written a book on it, signed the book. I was completely like, wow, this is crazy. Right. But I do. And the book is called, If You Hear the Message 3 Times, Listen. And I say that line a lot because, so I just think there's a lot, I don't know, Jennifer, I can't even answer your question.
I would say start exploring that, writing your stories down, start documenting them, start clarifying to yourself, start validating those things to yourself. So that you can reconfirm what's going on with you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another way to discover yourself and discover your path.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's true.
Interesting.
It's true.
And then when I'm like in this life, I'm sort of busy doing a billion other things. So I'm not focusing maybe as much as I should on why can I recognize a mind reader? Why do I almost like see or feel something that is happened?
I think what happens sometimes with near death, I had the same thing at 19 years old. I almost bled out to death. I passed out like 5 times. My blood pressure got to 43/28, which is basically almost dead.
Did you actually feel like you saw the light? Like when
I actually feel like I did,
I
and
feel
I
like
really
I did.
don't remember anything else but a light. But all I know is that when I came to, I saw everything different, including myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't talk for anybody, but I really feel like my near death was an opening of my third eye chakra. Personally, that's what I think mine was.
And see, I don't know enough about
for
it.
anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, the third eye chakra is about being able to see things that people don't see, being highly intuitive, being able to step into that 5D world and that realm, and sometimes creating things with our minds that kind of freak people out. But sometimes when you get to that third eye, you know, people, there's all different terminology. There's psychic, you know, there's all these terminology. Yeah, there's all these terminology. I really don't have one. I just say I'm spiritual and this is who I am.
Yeah.
So
pretty much. Yep, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel
I'm a light being. I'm a light being.
Sometimes
you're all light being. So
I don't know about you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Jennifer, but is there certain people after your third eye chakra opened or whatever, you came to the like realization of holy crap, what I can do? You're right. Mm-hmm. Did you come to the realization that you have to kind of stay away from certain people in your life because you feel like you can read their life now, and now it bothers you because you got to keep your mouth shut?
Well, with those people, they don't want to be around you and they don't want to hear what you have to say anyway because you irritate, you trigger them.
Yep, they don't.
Because of your light within you, you're triggering them because they don't want to be. They're not. You feel like sometimes you're going like this with somebody.
Yes.
Like I don't know what I mean. Vibrationally, it's like this.
Mm-hmm. And there's like a stall, right? It's like it goes in stalls. It's like I get pushed back, like this pushback of energy. And you can tell like their energy is like, step away from me. You know, I have a friend that's like, oh, you know, I'm single, so I date sometimes, right? And I will always meet, and this is the first question I always ask a guy. They're like, so what are you into? Well, I'm a master tarot reader. Oh, really? Yes. Can I read your cards? Can I read your cards? And if he says no, I'm out.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
I am not wasting my time with people who are hiding secrets or trying to pretend to be something they're not.
Yeah.
And since I started doing this, it is a great way to wean out the ones that are here just to mess with me. It's like, you want a reading? A free one? Oh, no, I don't want that. Okay, then you got to go.
Well, you know, there's something inside me. So yesterday, I had a conversation with like a friend of mine that was telling me that like the 5D is deception, that self-love and that healing and that ascending is deception, and that it's like the enemy's way, and I've already like been through that, but like she said it again, and then I like totally made that my truth, but it's just 2 different ways of saying it. And so I feel like in this Zoom series, I was like pushing for that because like thinking that everything that I had like developed as far as like what Jennifer was saying, like the bigger picture, that we're all light beings, and like when you get so detailed, that's when it others people. And who actually knows? I don't really know, but I have this feeling that like it's like this can't be bad and I already know that. So it's like I need to get stronger in that. And so I want to just like, go ahead, mommy.
Well, I was just going to say, in that little bit of thing where you bring in the religion and whatever, I mean, I had a pretty wise old owl for a dad. And a few things he said was like, when it comes to religion, you can't make everyone else wrong just to make you right.
Correct.
Yes. Yes, yes.
And then the other thing I learned, because he was raised Catholic, and some of my aunts are still very, very like so in here, you know, Catholic, like,
Right.
and you just have to go, okay, you know, be you.
Yeah.
People have to just believe what they believe, but not judge others. I mean, I always try to say, like, I studied religion as like just a tiny bit, because I'm so fascinated by it, but which could be a whole nother little topic. You know, there's so many things in here you could take. Just Anna, when you talked about how the universe and how we need to like save humanity almost, you know, like that could even be, I loved everything I heard here today. Like, believe me, I wasn't on because had something, but I listened. There's just so many things that are so interesting that it's fascinating. You know what I mean? And I think it's almost like, you know, I mean, on reality TV, when they do like what happens live or whatever, you know, Andy Cohen, but like they have the faces. And so you're hearing people. So there's something kind of interesting about, I don't know, I like this four square, four people on the screen.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry,
but we're doing that now. So we could use this footage, but you're talking about like our plan.
But also you can edit it.
You can cut it. You can cut it out.
And
I know, but who's editing?
But you can do it. So one thing I want to say to you is you can edit this footage.
I will.
Okay. Like you can do it and it'll be amazing.
Yes.
And trust me, even Annabelle, your little,
I'll get help.
I mean, you can just learn how to edit and make it tight and edit it.
Learn how to edit.
Nobody has to get bored even for a second, because there's so much quality here.
I agree. And then
you can do it.
I think we did the same thing. Like I said, like, I have no time because I have my VSP and my painting workshop, but you also said the same thing when Jennifer asked you to like write about what your why is for why you had to pass. Like,
no, I will do that.
Okay.
So I just said like right this minute, I don't even know how to answer it. And then you said like, I'm going to work on that.
Okay.
I'm going to think about it.
You're going to work on that.
I heard you, Jennifer. I'm going to think about it. Because it's interesting that sometimes I just am like, I don't have time.
Yeah,
I know there's something, but
I do it too. Yeah. It's like making it.
We all do it. We all do it. So don't worry.
We all do it. I was going to say that.
Time, you figure it out. You write it down. Writing down helps a lot. It's like make a list. You wake up in the morning and just try to follow that list until you get everything done, and then you get it done. Because otherwise, you're going to be like, I'll put that off tomorrow. I'll put that off tomorrow. Believe me, I have a lot of stuff to do myself. So. But I make time. I just have to take time. I'm working on a book. So
Oh, you are? You're writing a book?
Yeah.
Oh, so. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. I can't wait to read it.
That's awesome.
Yay. That's awesome.
But like you guys, I have to find the time to like, I literally have so many things. I'm sure as you too, you have to do personal readings, you're uploading online, and then you have all these other things going on in your life that you're doing.
I work full time.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So you're doing it full time and you're just you got to find the time.
I'm a single mom with a 6-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
School. Yeah.
I'm an empty nester.
I get no
I am too.
Mine with glitter.
I do it by myself. So time is very limited. Sometimes I don't sleep. So
she does.
No, I know.
I really don't do that.
She's booked.
But I think there's something, this collective is super interesting, right? Where I think Sky's initial concept of like adding people in and we can, you know, promote the bigger picture, which will, you know what I'm saying? It's really interesting. I loved it. The collective of these different ideas, you know, different ways of saying sometimes the same thing.
I mean,
showing the positiveness of all of, you know, I just said there's so many things that I loved about this.
All right, my darlings, I love you guys.
Yes.
I gotta go.
Yes, I gotta go too. I gotta go pick up my son.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Send me also, Anna, send me your information as well, okay?
Yeah, I will definitely send it to you. Yeah, I will send it to you. Where do you want me to send it though? Because I don't have your email.
Actually, just go right on my website, jenniferwalker.com.
Okay, sure.
You can
I'll
type
go
the
there.
number in the chat
Sounds good.
if you want.
Yeah. So all you guys, send me your